Organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on this Tuesday morning edition of Daily Iowan TV, Honoring a Legacy, Iowa City celebrates Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And later, Writers Resist. Local writers and musicians use their craft to share their views on American democracy.
Iowa football is changing. Find out how later in sports.
And we show you what happened to the Hawks in Evanston on Sunday.
All of that and more coming up. You're watching Daily Iowan TV. Thank you for tuning in to our first live edition of Daily Iowan TV of 2017. I'm Becca Scadden. Iowa City Council member Rockne Cole is being sued by his business partner. Dan Vondra is asking the court to break up their shared law firm and have Cole pay over about $42,000 to the firm. The suit says Cole allegedly was overpaying himself for his work for 3 years. Cole has not agreed to pay back the firm. We will keep you updated as the story develops. The wife of the Orlando nightclub gunman Omar Mateen was arrested Monday by the FBI. Noor Salman was taken into custody in connection with the mass shooting. Specific allegations have not been made public yet, but Attorney General Loretta Lynch confirmed that this is a matter they're taking very seriously. Salman is to be in federal court today. Governor Terry Branstad gave his final condition of the state address last week before he takes on his new role as the U.S. ambassador to China. The address, titled Smaller and Smarter Government, proposed budget cuts to various programs, including higher education, human services, Planned Parenthood, and more. Branstad wants to reduce the overall state budget by $110 million. Stick with Daily Iowan TV, as one of our reporters will be looking into how these possible budget cuts could affect the University of Iowa. A Writers Resist event took place Sunday at the Englert Theater. Local writers and musicians came together to express their feelings about the current political climate and U.S. democracy. Daily Iowan TV reporter Mackenzie Cooper has the story.
On Sunday, writers and musicians gathered at Englert Theater in downtown Iowa City for the Writers Resist event. Writers of all ages read their own work or others as a way to share their thoughts about democracy and freedom of expression. John Kenyon, the executive director of Iowa City UNESCO City of Literature, along with Andrea Wilson of the Iowa Writers House, organized this event.
After the election and a lot of the rhetoric that came out of the election and after it, folks kind of didn't know what to do, and particularly writers, they were wondering how did they express themselves in this new world. And so this movement began in Florida, where this idea came. We had Writers Resist events, and we thought here in the City of Literature it made sense for us to have an event like this here.
Writers Resist events also took place in Cedar Rapids and Des Moines on Sunday. John Kenyon hopes events like this encourages discussion about our country.
Issues to address as a country, no matter what end of the political spectrum you may be on, and I think that people expressing that through writing, through words, is one of the ways that we can really move forward.
Reporting from Englert Theater in downtown Iowa City, this is Mackenzie Cooper, Daily Iowan TV.
At a recent Iowa City School Board meeting, complaints were heard over schools using seclusion rooms for the special education department. Seclusion rooms are areas in a room created to isolate students when they are misbehaving. The board is looking to find solutions for these by the end of the spring semester. These rooms are legal but are not encouraged by the U.S. Department of Education. Well, Sydney, I know we've had some pretty interesting weather here in the Midwest the past couple days, but what's it looking like in Iowa City this week?
Well, Becca, it's going to be a pretty drizzly week here in Iowa City. Welcome back from break, Hawkeyes. As for many of us, we ran into some pretty bad weather when coming back to Iowa City. Unfortunately, it looks like we can expect that weather nearly all week. Tuesday morning, we can expect temperatures about 34 degrees with some foggy skies. Later on the afternoon, temps will stay about the same and the fog will take a turn into some cloudy skies. This trend in weather will continue throughout the evening as temperatures stay in the low 30s. Wednesday morning, things will cool down into the low 20s, but we can expect some sunshine to pop through those partly cloudy skies. Now looking into the rest of the week, temperatures will be in the mid to high 40s while it will rain throughout the most of the week into the weekend. We can see a glimpse of sun on Thursday. Now, Iowa roadways have may have refreezed overnight. So if you're driving around, make sure to use extra caution to drive slowly. Drive safe and have a good semester, Hawkeyes. Becca, back to you.
One local elementary school held an event in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day yesterday, and those from the community came out to show their support. Daily Iowa TV reporter Noah Gowdy has the story.
On the third Monday of every January is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It is a celebration in which we remember the life and achievements of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Local elementary school Grant Wood was host to the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, which was put together by the neighborhood centers of Johnson County, United Action for Youth, and many other volunteers from the community. Even with the freezing rain and the icy road conditions, the community still came out to show their support and learn about Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and what he did to better the lives of others. There were even service tables around the gymnasium and the hallway that allowed the community to get involved and help out organizations from around the Iowa City area.
And we are going to donate them to different community organizations like the shelter house, the blankets, or we can get some people to the hospital, or just places that are in need of things like that.
Some of the service projects they were working on were sewing, button making, weaving, and many other activities. Even Congressman Dave Loebsack made an appearance at the event and spoke about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
He saw injustice in this country, in this world, wherever it was, and did everything he could to make sure that we corrected that injustice.
Reporting from Grant Wood Elementary School in Iowa City, Noah Gowdy, Daily Iowan TV.
The American Civil Liberties Union of Iowa asked the Iowa City Public Library to remove security cameras in the bathroom area in a letter on Monday. A UI student filed the complaint, expressing privacy concerns. In the complaint, the student said, quote, "I felt immediately that my privacy was violated. I'd seen the sign about cameras outside the women's bathroom, but I understood that to be informing patrons that they were subject to recording in the area outside the bathrooms, not inside it." Stick with Daily Iowan TV for further coverage. The Iowa City Historic Preservation Commission has been awarded a civil rights grant from the National Park Service. Iowa City officials say the $16,000 grant will be used to help fund the nomination of 2 Iowa City buildings to the National Register of Historic Places. The Tate Arms Rooming House and the Iowa Federation Home Dormitory are significant to the history of African American civil rights in Iowa City. They serve as landmarks reminding us of the struggle for housing equality Black students faced at the University of Iowa. Eugene Cernan, the last astronaut to leave his footprints on the moon, passed away yesterday at the age of 82. He's remembered as commander of Apollo 17, NASA's last mission to the moon in 1972. He was also the second American and one of 2 men to have flown to the moon twice. He was a part of NASA for 13 years. His family says he died following ongoing health issues. Well, Katie, I know we've had a lot going on in sports while we've been on break. Can you update us what's been happening?
Thanks, Becca. Yeah, that's right. Well, we've been on break. Iowa athletics have definitely been in full swing. Mary Kate and I followed the Hawks to the Outback Bowl in Tampa and watched them fall to the Florida Gators 30-3.
Yeah, that was a very rough game, but following the loss, Iowa football is seeing a few changes. Offensive coordinator Greg Davis actually retired, and the Hawks promoted former offensive line coach Brian Ferentz as the replacement. The coaching staff will also see a new wide receiver coach, running backs, and special teams coach, and will also be adding a new quarterbacks coach.
Yeah, that'll be really exciting. So a lot of changes, hopefully good changes coming to Iowa football.
Yeah, especially with signing day coming up as well.
That's right. Well, as football ended, basketball started their Big Ten play in late December, and after falling to Northwestern Sunday night, the Hawks sit at 3-3 in conference play.
Northwestern scored the first 8 points and had a 19-9 lead 7 minutes in. And after a run from the Hawks, they made it 25-22. But the Wildcats responded with 14 unanswered points and by halftime led 44-32. After the half, the starters were pulled and a spark from the bench was made. The score made the score 56-47. But with the Hawks scoring only 7 points during the last 13 minutes of play, the Wildcats took control and won 89-54.
Now, several factors contributed to the huge loss the Hawks took. They shot only 35% the whole game. They went 4 of 17 from the three-point range. They had 14 turnovers. And then, of course, their leading scorer, Peter Jock, was held to only 4 points the whole game. But there was a bright spot for this Iowa team, and that was seeing freshman Ryan Kreiner emerge.
That's right. Kreiner had a career high of 14 points and made 6 out of 7 field goals in 22 minutes. although Iowa just couldn't seem to get their offense started against Northwestern. Freshman Ryan Kreiner stepped up, being one of the Hawkeyes' leading scorers with 14 points, covering for some of the main scorers that just couldn't seem to find the basket.
I just kind of embraced my role coming off the bench, giving a spark when needed, and if I have an open shot, I'm going to knock it down.
One of the main scorers that Kreiner covered for was captain and leader Peter Jacques, who had an off night against Wildcats with only scoring 4 points when he usually averages about 20 points a game.
Obviously, when anyone has an off night and it affects the team, it's not just Pete. It's obviously not Pete's fault. It's a team thing. We should have played a lot better defense as a unit, and you can't expect Pete to shoulder the scoring load every night. So it's not his fault. I mean, everyone's allowed to have an off night, and we just got to be better defensively.
It was very disappointing in the case of where we didn't follow the game plan, and we didn't do what Coach wanted to do. And they're good. They're a great team, and we can't let them start hot. They started off hot, and it was hard to beat them. So, like I said earlier, we just got to get back in film. We got another big game on Thursday, Maryland, which is another great team. So we can't think about this too much. I mean, we're gonna let it sink in for the night, but then we got to get back to film and watch that. So.
Now, Ryan and the team do have a few days to regroup here from this loss, as they have to get ready for Maryland on Thursday at 6 p.m. in Iowa City. Reporting from Welsh Ryan Arena, this has been Mary Kate Harrion for Daily Iowan TV Sports. As I just mentioned, tomorrow we will have more on how the team is bouncing back from this loss and preparing to take on number 25 Maryland on Thursday.
That's right. Well, now the women's gymnastics team clinched their first Big Ten win of the season Friday night against Michigan State.
That's right. The ladies came out with 15 top 5 event finishes and 5 champion titles. In the all-around, freshman Charlotte Sullivan took gold, claiming her first all-around win of her collegiate career. Senior Molly Drenth followed in third.
Drenth and sophomore Rose Pierkowski tied for first in vault, and junior Melissa Zarowoski followed in third. Zarowoski also tied for second in uneven bars. Metcalf and freshman Claire Kaji tied for first on beam. The ladies finished the night with a 49.05 score on floor.
Zarowoski finished second overall, with Kaji close behind to tie for third, and Sullivan and Lainey Snyder to tie for fourth.
The Lady Gym Hawks also competed on Sunday against California Berkeley, but fell by only 1.1 points. The girls had 3 first-place titles, with Sullivan winning the all-around for the second consecutive meet, senior Angel Metcalf taking first in the uneven bars, and Kaji tying for first overall. The Gym Hawks will travel to Columbus, Ohio next Saturday to take on Ohio State.
That's right, and along with an update from men's basketball tomorrow, we will also take a closer look at some very important people that are part of the women's basketball team.
Becca, back to you.
After nearly 150 years, the Ringling Bros and Barnum Bailey Circus plan to shut down the greatest show on earth. The final performance of the circus is set to take place in May. Chairman and CEO of Feld Entertainment, Kenneth Feld, announced that the closing is due to declining ticket sales. Feld said the animals currently in the circus would go to sustainable homes after their final performance. And that's a wrap for this Tuesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. For the latest in local news, be sure to pick up a copy of the Daily Iowan newspaper or visit dailyiowan.com. Be sure to check out our newscast every day live at 8:30, also on dailyiowan.com. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Becca Scadden. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day, Iowa City.